or high. Talgar, the city of regional value, the administrative center of Talgarsky district of Almaty region of Kazakhstan. It is located on northern slopes of Zalisky Elatau, in 25 km to the east from Almaty. Talgarsky district, one of the most picturesque areas of Almaty region. Its area -3,700 km. He occupies the most part of territories of the state Ilaltosti National Park, within the massive Zalisky Elatau, and has an exit to the coastline of the Kapagaysky Reservoir. Zolan Ibriakula Umarov was the Akim of Talgarsky district in 2019-2020. On July 27, 2020, Umarov died of pneumonia. On November 30, 2020, Adar Bulutbayevich Nurmakambit was appointed to the position of the Akim. The administrative center of Talgarsky district was stretched in a southeast part of spurs of Zalisky Elatau in the intermountain Elisky Valley at the height about meters above sea level. Talgar is on one parallel with such known cities as Gagra and Vladivostok. Through the city there passes the motor transportation highway of Republican value connecting Mr. Talgar with Almaty 25 km long. The message of the village with other cities is carried out by motor, railway, air transport through Almaty. In 55 km to the southwest there is a medieval ancient settlement Zoxilik. Cadastral code 057. Is a part of the district of 11 rural districts and the city. 194,701 persons, about 47 nationalities and nationalities live in 61 settlements. The greatness of the primitive nature of mountains makes an indelible impression. Peak Talgar 4973 meters high, who is well visible even from the Kapagaysky Reservoir. Peak of Iktau, the athlete, the gorge average, left and right Talgar attract tourists and climbers not only from Kazakhstan, but also from other countries. Natural property of Talgarsky district, Ilaltosti State National Natural Park. Here more than 1,000 plant species grow. The fauna of the protected area is incredibly rich and various. According to researchers, in the territory of the reserve 38 species of mammals, 200 bird species, 900 species of insects live. 22 species of animals and 28 plant species are included in the Red List of Kazakhstan. The Talgar River originates in the Talgarsky Glacier. The left Talgar and the right Talgar is formed by confluence and falls into the Kapagaysky Reservoir. The dam constructed on the river saved the city of Talgar from destructive mudstreams 3 times. Climate in the city sharply continental with hot summer and in the cold winter, with considerable fluctuations in temperature not only between seasons, but also between times of day. In Talgar there is a lot of sunny days. Till 1596 o'clock in a year. Also in a year is up to 151 days without frosts. Level of temperature fluctuation of air varies at various heights. It rises on more than 1,400 meters above sea level. Average annual air temperature goes down on 0.66 each 100 meters. In written sources, Hudud Alalem. World borders. Under the name of Talkis. Talkis is for the first time mentioned in 982 in the geographical treatise by the unknown author. Takiz's identity with the ancient settlement Talgar, one of the largest medieval towns of the Ilysky Valley, is standard. The area of the strengthened site. A quadrangle with a length of parties about 300 m. Was about 9 hectares, on corners of a shaft, and on perimeter there were towers behind shaft, a ditch. In the middle of southwest and northeast walls there were 2 entrances connected by the road which divided the city into 2 approximately equal parts. The strengthened part of the city was adjoined by other constructions of trade and craft and agricultural character. On archaeological excavations it was succeeded to establish that the city began to be formed the 8-9 centuries at the end. His most intensive development was the share of 10, the beginning of the 13th centuries, and in forge, metalworking, potters, glass, bone carving crafts, construction business were developed. On opened estates it is visible that they consisted of an inhabited part, 4, 6 and more rooms, and the yard. In living rooms there were tandoors for heating and cooking, including flat cakes. In the majority of houses there were granaries from 32 to 75 m. In the yards adjoining houses enclosed with stone and pies-walled fences arranged sheep and goats shelters, stables, sheds for cows. Thus, it is known that Talgar's inhabitants were engaged in cattle breeding and agriculture. The last prevailed that is very characteristic of these places. Cultivation of wheat and gardening, cultivation of apples, dried apricots, grapes was especially developed. The favorable arrangement on the Silk Way contributed to the development of workmanship, and as a result of trade what finds on places of archaeological excavations testify to. Availability of slags and pieces of ore in a large number allows to draw a conclusion on smelting in the ancient settlement of iron. Every year to Talgar there come about 500 foreigners, in particular from Great Britain, the USA and Slovenia, and most often stop for ski entertainments in joint stock company Bulik. Also in Talgar the only 5-star hotel in Almaty region, Bulik Hotel, where every month there come 15-30 people from Russia, Ukraine, Great Britain and other countries, is located. After the strengthening base is true. Nowadays Almaty. In February 1854, according to the decision of local authorities around him, several Cossack villages for strengthening of eastern frontiers of the Russian Empire were put. It village of Nadenskaya, nowadays Essek, Lyubovinskaya, nowadays Kaskalan, and Sofia, nowadays Talgar. Lane of the village Sofia Treat, February-March 1858, when Horanzy Zherabayatyev with 24 families of the Siberian Cossacks Talgar founded the first constructions of the settlement on the right river bank. In 1928 Talgarsky district, which administrative center was Talgar, was formed. In 1918 the village Sofia is renamed into the village of Murayevo, and in a year to the village of Talgar. Since December 22, 1959 Talgar became the city of regional submission. From January 1965 to 1998 the city regional. Till 1969 it was the center of Ilysky district, and since May 1969 Talgarsky. The first Komsomol cell was organized in 1919, which first leaders were Ivan Studenin and Sergei Zhdankov, the first honorable citizen subsequently. The Kalinin rural district, nowadays Tadabastosy, is educated in 1933. His history is connected with the collective farm movement of the country. The Jerzynsk Rural District is formed in 1964. In post-war years the collective farm was headed by the hero of socialist labor Vasily Dmitrievich Didkovsky, in the 70th years the hero of socialist labor Ivan Pavlovich Skvortsov. Reflection of reorganization of the village is the history of collective farm of Mykarin. Nowadays the personal computer of Abdugulaf. In 1939 on the place of a field camp of the collective farm. Cheerful life, which separated from collective farm the east being the village cheerful, nowadays Belbalak was put. Nearly a quarter of the century collective farm was headed by the deputy of the Supreme Council of the USSR, the deputy of the Supreme Council Kas. Sir Hirasats. Work participant to the Great Patriotic War Abdugulaf Kapiza. In 1929 the collective farm Mountain October was created, which chairman elected the worker 25 the Chilyark Arkady Melnikov. In 1933 the economy is renamed into Mountain Giant. In 1929 the collective farm Xilgayrat, nowadays is created by Jestkayrat. The most competent resident of the village of Zyopgaziev, then Suleiman Ayapov was elected its first chairman. More than 20 years in 60 years I directed collective farm Watazabykov. The state farm of Panfilov was organized in 1930 as economy of the Regional Union of Agricultural Cooperation. At the beginning he was called Bayserk. Since 1968 State Farm Panfilovsky. After carrying out reforming the economy is called as Jest Plemkos Panfilovsky. The State Farm of Tomarovsky of the Panfilovsky District State Farm Almaty was organized earlier in 1930. On the place where there is the central estate now the caravanserai was located. The staff of State Farm is multinational. His many toilers are marked out by high government awards. Among them 11 people carry a rank of heroes of socialist work, 40-80 people, an award of the Labor Red Banner, the 8th Order of Friendship of the People are awarded with the Order of Lenin, 8th Award of Awards of the October Revolution. In 1986 the name of his organizer and permanent head, hero of socialist work Pyat Fedorovich Tomarovsky is appropriated to economy. The Frunz Rural District, nowadays Narinsky, is formed in 1951. The state farm located in his territory Jedegensky feeding point was considered to the largest enterprises of the mechanized maintaining livestock production in the Republic. On September 27, 1929 in Talgar the Commune International, and nowadays Shop Kalmati Stud Farm was created. In 1929 Communards received the first tractor, Fordson, that became a considerable event for village life. From the date of the organization of economy and before his division in 1972 by economy the hero of the socialist work Leonid Stepanovich Manko directed. Now his business is continued by the honorable citizen of Almaty region, regional Maslikets deputy, the gentleman of the award, Parasat Anatoly Ivanovich Smykov. The first agricultural atoll was formed in 1924 and was called Trad. Then there were Red Eagles, the Revolution Dawn. The first trade atoll was called Work of Disabled People, created in 1931.
For the purpose of revival of former glory of the well-known Almaty port at the expense of lands of a foothill zone of collective farm Alma-Ata in 1975, the collective farm of T.
Riskalev was organized. The Talgarsky garment factory, organized in 1928 in the form of Artelev Association, was one of firstborns of industrial production. Intensive development of industrial production in the area happened in 1960.
In 1967, mechanical repair workshops, on the basis of which in 1972 the Talgarsky Experimental Foundry Mechanical Plant in her organized. May 1979 it was organized. The Zirger plant is founded, then transformed to Catalyst, the first public motor transportation enterprise. Talgarsky ETP is created in 1969.
In October 1967 on base, the small motorcade organized a bus fleet for transportation of passengers. Now reorganized into Jeskavtobusny Park. Intensive development of city economy and the area demanded development of means of communication. The Channel 1 of telecommunication of Almaty, Talgarisik Chunzakoldzabajing appeared in post-war 1946, 1947 Goda. At the beginning of 50 years there were 3 channels.
In 1931, for ensuring protection of all natural complex in the central part of Zalisky Alatau, the national park which center since 1967 is in Talgari, was organized.
The reserve occupies 74,000 hectares of the territory. According to researchers, in the territory of the reserve 38 species of mammals, 200 bird species, 900 species of insects live. 22 species of animals and 28 plant species are included in the Red List of Kazakhstan. G. Talgar is the youth city, most of which part of the population is made by students' youth.
In 2010, 92 years to the Talgarsky Agricultural Technical School, formed in 1918 as Semirechensky Average Agricultural School on the basis of Venensky Lowest Agricultural School, were executed. In 1934 the school is transferred from Tru in Talgar, and since 1936, having merged from Talgarsky School on Protection of Plants, began to be called as Talgarsky Agricultural Technical School.
Now the Agricultural Technical School is called Agribusiness and Management of B. Base BF. In 1937 the Regional School of Nurses was open. In 1954 the school is transformed to Talgarsky Medical School, at present Medical College. For 62 years school I trained more than 10,000 experts for healthcare institutions of area and republic. The first comprehensive high school is formed in 1934, the bearing name of the first director, participant of the Second World War, the Major General Halapov 1. F. Among his graduates the hero of the Soviet Union Bedrenko N. 5.
Fully at this school worked 50 years the mathematics teacher Pavel Matvievich Kovalenko Zasluzhny, the teacher of the Republic of Kazakhstan, the honorable citizen.
Now at 42 comprehensive schools more than 25.3 thousand pupils study.
One of the oldest enterprises of the Republic for production of food alcohol, Talgarsky Distillery, was founded in 1886 by the merchant of the First Guild Nikita Yakovlevich Pugasov.
It is one of the few enterprises of the city prospering and working at full capacity to this day. All 133 years the plant work on classical technology of receiving ethyl alcohol from grain crops. The products of the enterprise surpass analogues in the qualitative characteristics as in Kazakhstan and abroad. The main consumers of Talgarsky alcohol, the medical and pharmaceutical institutions, the alcoholic beverage plants producing elite vodka and hard alcoholic beverages. In 1888 in the village Sofia the merchant Pugasov constructed skinnery which in 1918 was nationalized. In 1926 on the basis of this plant the Auto Bolshevik, renamed later into Auto Redovchinik, were adjusted to skin, toying, tanning and shoe, sheepskin and fur coat, Sapakovavolyali production and also repair and custom tailoring of footwear is created. In 1935 Pimikatny and sawing production was developed. In 1958-1959 on the basis of Auto Redovchinik, the Koshmavalyalny factory which began to produce up to 2,000 tons of Yertovy felt a year was created. The print in the history of the area was left by years of the Great Patriotic War. In pre-war years in Talgar one of battalions of the famous 316th Rifle Division subsequently renamed into the 8th Guards Panfilovskaya was formed. Intensive development of industrial production happened in Talgar in the 60th years.
During this period mechanical repair workshops on the basis of which the Talgarsky experimental foundry and mechanical plant is organized later were open.
The Zerger plant then transformed to Catalyst. The first public motor transportation enterprise, Talgarsky ATP. The bus fleet for transportation of passengers now reorganized into Jesk Avtobusny Park. In the 90th because of disorder of the enterprise's heat supply in houses was cut off. People were heated by ovens potbelly stoves and brought to the street of a pipe which stand to this day.
With disintegration of the Union however, and in all cities of Kazakhstan, the enterprise in Talgar began to be closed one behind another. Unemployment came to the provincial town.
Many Germans and Greeks came out to the historical homeland. The most part of the population stretched in job searches in Almaty. Someone was engaged in trade, someone private carrying. My ancestors on mother, all Cossacks, and with Talgar at me a lot of things is connected. Of course in Soviet period the city was another. All enterprises worked, only city bus routes went, sidewalks were, lamps burned on each street, and now, only on central where Akamat. There is no movie theater in the city. With children there is no place to take a walk, on all city 2 inflatable trampolines. In respect of leisure of youth we have no place to have a good time. Generally all go to the city. Some in the park on a shop drink beer. The town restless in the criminal plan. But in the last 2 years it became it seems more silent. The inhabitant Talgar Vladimir who kindly agreed to conduct for me a sightseeing tour tells. Not really. 85% of inhabitants work in Almaty. The remain 15%, someone on a market trade, someone tax it. In the 90s a lot of people left, and now the Russian-speaking population continues to leave actively, but there were many visitors, Oralman, Karakalpaks. Now in Talgar the company on production of semi-finished products Baron Food, factory on production of furniture from metal and Zeta plastic, factory on production of clothes Glassman, Talgarsky the knitted plant, Talgarsky brickworks. The skilled and experimental plant, Talgar, Kazakhstan textile line factory and other small enterprises work. Actively in Talgarsky district small and medium business develops. The leaders of the area stopped for opening of new productions. Our Prime Kazakhstan LP became one of the enterprises opened in Talgarsky district recently. This enterprise is engaged in production and realization of safety floor coverings, a rubber tile and rubber seamless coverings, in the Kazakhstan market since the beginning of 2015.
Exactly in a year, spring of 2016, the production line was significantly modernized and production is again started in Talgarsky district of Almaty region near the settlement of Balbalak.
For the first year of work, more than 10,000 square m of a rubber tile in Almaty and other cities of Kazakhstan are realized. According to the first head, recently demand for coverings from a rubber crumb promptly grows as playgrounds with a safety covering become the integral attribute of modern housing estates, kindergartens and educational institutions. Park zones of city streets are modernized. It gives an incentive to reaching higher level of production and product sales.
Now the modernized line of processing equipment allows to make environmentally friendly safety floor rubber coverings in volume to 4,000 square
m of finished goods a month. At introduction of additional change, increase in power of production is possible.
Today the given enterprise is the largest in Kazakhstan on production of a rubber tile.
One more plant which during the exit briefing was visited by journalists, Karim Plus LP. This plant was started last year as the producer of PAK profiles, pipes and a fitting. The volume of investment at the time was $, with creation of 100 jobs.
Conducting a tour, the staff of the plant noted that feature of the plant is full automation of supply of raw materials on the line.
Besides, we would pride say that we the first and now the only plant in Kazakhstan which doesn't use lead in production of PAK products. Instead of lead is used zinc.
PAK products without lead are especially recommended to be used for kindergartens, schools and hospitals.
Our production lines are equipped on the last European technologies. Now 5 lines of PAK profiles, 2 high-performance lines on pipes and 5 automatic molding machines which form a fitting to pipes are started. By production we use only the European additives which already found recognition at producers. Our main goal is creation of the Kazakhstan PAK brand of profiles, pipes and a fitting which will be known in the territory of the CISIS, and in the future and around the world, employees of the plant shared.
Baron Food LP became one more pride of the area.
The enterprise was created in 2013. His organizer and the founder is Sergey Kalinin. The company is engaged in production and realization of the frozen semi-finished products. Production capacity -700 tons per year. Feature the enterprise became also the fact that it has own country farms where vegetables for the subsequent processing are grown up. So, the producer can guarantee that in his products there are no nitrates and pesticides. Not only Kazakhstan, but also Russia became sales market for Baron Food LP. Also Talgarsky district actively participates in all state programs. Every year residents of the area note that life in native villages improves. In Talgar in education are available. 10 high schools, Kazakh Turkish Lyceum, 5 kindergartens, 5 colleges. Medical, pedagogical, economic, legal, agribusiness and management. No. 4 professional lyceum. In education. In total, the 5th establishment. Management of the state sanitary and epidemiological surveillance on Talgarsky district, the Central District Hospital, Talgarsky District Hospital on 150 beds with polyclinic on the 300th visit per shift, a tubercular clinic, the Almaty Regional Center of Mental Health and Narcological Frustration. In the city there are 10 high schools, 5 kindergartens.
Kazakh Turkish Lyceum, Professional Lyceum no.
4, 5 colleges. Medical, pedagogical, humanitarian and economic, legal, agribusiness and management.
Talgarsky College of Agribusiness and Management, one of the oldest educational institutions not only in Talgar but also in all Republic.
It was founded in 1918. A year ago the college celebrated century anniversary. New schools which were constructed in Talgarsky district, in the Alls of Basagush and Belbalak became the first subjects to visit of Regional Service of Communications. So, the high school in the village of Basagush is designed for 600 pupils.
More than 1 billion tenges from Republican and local budgets were allocated for her construction 2 years ago.
Now at school studying sit in the light spacious offices equipped with the latest technology. There is also equipped sewing workshop for girls and a workshop for work with wooden and metal objects for boys. At school the Balasha Mini Center on 4 groups is also open. One more comprehensive high school of the village of Belbalak was constructed in 1957, and to the main school the extension was required. According to the program ERLAL, to this school the extension on 600 places is begun. Today on an object construction works are well underway. Also far. Write comments. Read comments. Interesting people will tell interesting stories. All of good mood and good luck.